Today is going to be a different video, and I want to talk about the importance of hiring a mentor or a coach. So in today's video, I want to introduce, I'm going to call him a mindset coach for myself. His name is Todd Fontaine. He's a personal trainer here in the Fraser Valley in Abbotsford, and I hired him to help me with my mindset, to get me back on track with my health. Okay, hi everybody, this is Sami, and I wanted to introduce you guys to Todd, who's my personal trainer. And I shared a little bit about my story, and actually why I hired Todd was because I needed some help with mindset. So in today's video, we are going to talk about going back to basics and just reconnecting with your body. And Todd started me off with breathing, and that's so essential, but things that we forget and we're not mindful of. So Todd, share a bit about yourself, tell them about you and what we started off with in the program, and I'll elaborate on more of the improvements that I've been seeing within myself working with Todd.
So I'm Todd Fontaine from Fontaine Fitness. Beyond just being a personal trainer, I consider myself a holistic health coach. Holistic because we have to look at everything. So a lot of times when people come see me, most of the time they're starting off just thinking aesthetics. And it's nothing wrong with wanting to look good, but we have to have a healthy way of looking at that. We have to look at the whole picture. So as Sami just said about the breathing, is for one thing, we already know aesthetically a good posture looks a lot better. Now if we have an inverted breathing pattern, which is most people, chest breathing, mouth breathing, that automatically starts to bring the head forward, cause a lot of tension up here, and we see a lot of people in this position here. So even if we're just thinking aesthetically, the breathing is important on that because nothing looks better than a good posture and nice movement. Beyond that, it's a bad stress response. When we're mouth breathing and we're chest breathing, our body thinks it's in a fight or flight situation all the time, so that shuts down your digestion. It shunts the blood away from the organs to the periphery, because we always think we have to get away from something, especially if we're under fluorescent lights all the time, drinking coffee all day long, on and on and on. So I can go on and on about all that, how it all ties in together, but that just gives a little idea of why I look into the breathing. I could go on for 8 hours about breathing, but just to give a good little idea of why that's very important.
So I didn't realize how important it was because I wasn't mindful of my stress response until Todd told me about the proper way to breathe, which is
to inhale through your nose. And for the first, now there's little debates on this, but the way I teach it is first 2/3 of the breath should come up through here, last 1/3 through the chest. So we should come out here, we should get the bucket action with the ribs here, and that should be even. The body should extend up as we're inhaling. Your spinal curvatures lessen because we have our degrees of curvature there, so the spine straightens out a little bit as we inhale. As we exhale, it comes back down, and that's very important for pumping the cerebral spinal fluid and for many other functions throughout the body. So it should be in through the nose. We want to initiate the breath with the diaphragm. It's a big muscle that cuts us off here. It connects down to the lower part of the spine. It's a bigger muscle than a lot of people realize unless they've actually looked it up. And if we classify the heart as an organ, then that thoracic diaphragm is the most important muscle in the whole entire body. So also when we're thinking about training and core, none of your core muscles will activate to their fullest ability if we are not engaging with that diaphragm. Also, when we inhale, we want to initiate with that diaphragm. We have upper respiratory muscles that will activate as well, but we don't want to initiate with them pulling up to pull the lungs up to get air in. Then we start getting a lot of tension, unnecessary tension around the neck, which can then cause tension headaches, on and on and on. So many different things we have to think about with that diaphragm that will tie into whether you're looking at sports performance, getting out of pain, aesthetic goals, if you're stressed, and all those things, they all tie in together. Food, if we're having a lot of sugar, will start to stimulate us and cause us to start to chest breathe. And again, that's a holistic approach, looking at everything that's involved.
So we're gonna go into some breathing exercises, certain exercises that help you reconnect to your body, to allow your body to move in its natural and proper way. So we'll do a couple of exercises, but I wanted to elaborate a little bit on that about the breathing because I work behind a desk all the time. So I didn't realize I was a chest breather this entire time. I thought I was breathing from my diaphragm, but little did I know that my stress response, I was like hyperventilating all day, and then you add coffee to that, and you add stress to that, and life, and things just get busy and hectic. If you're not mindful of your breathing, you will be in a flight or fight response all day long. So Todd, let's get into some of the exercises that you showed me that help you get back into your body. Which one would you like to show first?
So the easiest one, if I don't have someone here with me, is usually I get people to lay down when they first do it. When we're standing up, then our muscles are a little more active to support us. So sometimes people can do this standing, but I usually get them to start laying down because I want you to be relaxed. I want you to be in a relaxed atmosphere. Hopefully you can close your eyes and you don't have kids running around you. I know we all got different things going on in our lives, but if you can find a quiet time, then you just lay down. You'd put one hand on your stomach at the belly button level and one on your sternum. And then what you're gonna do is inhale through your nose, and you want your bottom hand to move first for the first 2/3 of the breath. And then after that, your chest will join in. Now you also don't want a break there where you inhale here, a break, and then there. It kind of has a nice smooth motion together. But the first bit, we want to inhale through here, up through here, and then as we exhale, it can come down together. You can also put your hands, so I was just watching Sami put her hands here, is right where your bottom of your ribs are. As you inhale, you should feel it coming out and back in. If you feel one side moving more than the other, then that's something we need to address and work on. But just starting doing this here, the inhaling, bottom one moves first and the top one, and trying to do that with your jaw relaxed, shoulders relaxed, and just start working on that first. Then what I do with clients is we start to put that into different movement patterns because so many people cannot breathe, stabilize, and move. So ultimately when we're working, people like to use the word core, but if we're holding planks for 5 minutes, that really doesn't help us with anything. Now, don't get me wrong, you can build up to a 1-minute plank, but ultimately we need to be able to breathe, stabilize, and move in a dynamic environment that we're in, a 3-dimensional environment. So with the breathing again, just starting that's a very simple one that you can start off with there. Just make sure we're breathing like that. And again, just for you guys at home, because I'm not there to actually do it with you, there's a lot of things we can add on to that after.
Okay, I loved how you touched on the certain exercises that utilize all parts of your body. So when you're talking about a plank, we don't really just, we're not stiff as a board. So can you elaborate on that and why you mentioned that? Like, what do you mean about certain exercise should be using all parts of your body? Because I know I'm guilty of it. I have done planks and holding in my core and tightening everything, but not really feeling the effects of it, and then allowing other parts of my body to overcompensate, like raising my shoulders up or holding my breath. So can you talk about that a little bit more?
So the first thing I would recommend everyone out there is Google thoracic diaphragm and look at many different images of it so you see where it is. Also when you do that breathing exercise, I always get people to look at it, like I'll Google it for them on my phone so they can see it. Then you understand, you get a feeling of it more, and you'll see how big that muscle is. Now from there, it's again, I have a hard time if someone's on a video trying to explain stuff because, as Sami has noticed, it really helps when I'm working with her to work on those movements. So ultimately, again, what we want to be doing when we're doing, I hate saying core exercise because every exercise should involve pretty much most of your body unless we have to isolate a specific muscle. So to me, it's just full body, which is going to incorporate breathing, stabilizing, moving. So again, going back to the plank, for the longest time, people were doing abs was just all about flexion. Now we know that too much flexion and rotation is bad for causing disc bulges into disc herniations and stuff like that. We're already seated like this throughout the day. So then they started to notice, well, doing a little more planking was a better idea, which, yeah, getting into that a little bit more was good. But then from there, you have people that go crazy with these 5-minute plank challenges. And to me, we have a finite amount of time. So when someone comes see me and they ask me about a multitude of different exercises, actually Sami sent me a video of different exercises, which is fine. There's so many exercises out there, and there's a lot of good ones. But if a client comes to see me, I want an exercise program that's minimized and really specific to what they need. Yeah, there's 50 other exercises that could be good, but I really want to get it specific to that person to really pinpoint what we're wanting to work on. So, and the main thing that we want is, again, to be able to breathe, stabilize, and move, because ultimately that's what we're doing. And a lot of times people injure themselves doing the silliest thing, where they don't understand. I just reached into a cupboard and I felt something pull. Well, that's because you've trained your body sometimes, if you've been over planking, to be a stick. But then as soon as you go to move and you have to stabilize and breathe, then it kind of messes that all up. So everything starts with the breathing, and again, it's very specified to that person. So don't worry if you've seen a million different exercises. There are a lot of good ones out there, but we really want to specify, because as you're watching right now, you probably know that you don't have a lot of spare time. So if I can give you a 20-minute program to do even 3 times a week, that's going to help you move better, which will get you then going out for more walks and hikes and all that stuff. That's really what I want to try and do, rather than have a multitude of exercises that are just, you know, what I like to call random nonsense. It's just kind of all over the place, and it's not targeted and specific to you.
Yes, so that is why I actually hired Todd, because he had such a holistic approach about the entire body. We weren't just isolating certain parts of the body, because I came in and said, hey, I want to lose 15 pounds and I want a bigger butt and a smaller waist. Whereas, you know, some trainers could do that, where they have a customized program that is catered to your goal, but who knows how healthy and effective that is going to be, especially for a long-term approach. You want to make sure you have something that's incorporating the entire body and looking at the entire system. So with that being said, because we were on exercise and utilizing all of the body, can you show us a proper core workout using the ball?
Using the ball. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, thank you so much, Todd, for sharing those exercises with us. This is why I love working with Todd. He has such a holistic approach in what he does. I'll leave all of Todd's contact info and details in the description below. And if anyone wants to contact you, Todd, how do they do that? And share us where you're located.
So I train for a gym. I train people out of Bolt Fitness on Town Line Road, where the Summit Center is, the Twin Rinks. Or I go to people's homes if they prefer. If they have a little bit of equipment there, I can bring a few things, but I can train them in their home as well. And so just remember the couple exercises that you saw. Remember how I mentioned contraindications. They may cause you some pain. Always make sure that you see a professional. Remember too that you get what you pay for. So if you find someone that's really cheap, remember there's a reason why they're cheap. Make sure you get a professional. Make sure you get properly assessed before you do a program. And you can get a hold of me if you go on my website, which is www.fontaine-fitness.com.
So thank you guys for joining me on this journey. And if you like content like this, it's a little bit different, I know. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. And if you like Todd, highly suggest reaching out to him. He's an amazing guy and so much wealth of knowledge, which is why I hire experts of what they do, so I can catapult my own success, because they just bombard you with the knowledge and wisdom that they've immersed themselves in within years, like 20 years of knowledge being shared with you when you hire them. So Todd's info is in the description box below, and stay tuned for the next video.